We are at Automechanica 2026 and there's a big question mark with regards to future of powertrains. And one big company that's participating here is Horse Powertrain, and they are making their way into the Indian market. To talk about the future plans of Horse, we have with us Caroline Mechai, Chief of Sales and Business Development at the company. Caroline, thank you for talking to Autocar Professional.
Yeah.
Help us understand, what are your plans? You're a massive global enterprise, 15 billion euros with presence across China, Europe, other parts of the world. What does India have in store for us?
Yeah, it's very important. As you were saying, Horse was born from Renault and then developed globally. And we're now part of a JV, which is now 45% Renault, 45% Geely, and 10% Aramco. We have a very good global footprint: Latin America, Europe, China, South of Europe, North of Europe, and India. Clearly, in India, we already have a customer. We have Renault as a customer.
Absolutely.
So it's a very important and strategic country for us. So that's why we're present today and in discussion with many OEMs here in India.
India is a very price-sensitive market. In order to have a presence here, you got to be, have your local manufacturing base. What are the plans? Where does India figure in your future business strategy?
So, as I was saying, India is really part of the strategy of the development and the development of Horse. So very, very important. As I was saying, we already have some localized products here through our customer Renault. So we really do know the market, do understand the market. So we know that to be competitive here in the market, we need to have first the good technology.
Right.
This is really, really important. But then we need to have the good cost. And to have the good cost, we need to be localized.
Absolutely.
So clearly, this is part of the strategy, to be localized. How are we going to be localized? Then this is really something, a discussion that we're having. So we have discussion, of course, with our key partner, Renault, but also with a different OEM, different types of possibilities. Either we go on co-development or either we go on the carve-out. There are plenty of different possibilities. But at the end of the day, what is needed to have cost down is scale. And to have scale, we need to have volume.
Are you open to alliances, partnership, acquisitions, and with the India UFTA, the opportunity is open up further. So, what are the strategic steps potentially possible from Horse perspective?
So there are different possibilities, as I was saying. So this is clear. India is part of our strategic growth, is part of our business plan. How are we going to do so? As I was saying, there are different possibilities. So of course, we're discussing with our key partner and key customer here, but also with different partners. So it could be through, clearly through development, through co-development. But it's really important that we're here, we have the right technology, really have a proven technology in other regions. So for us, very important to be here and to develop for India, but also outside India. Because if we have a scale here for India, then we can have good costs and we could be able to export out of India, and this would be good for everyone.
So that tells us that manufacturing is a distinct possibility, and manufacturing not only to cater to the Indian market, but also to the overseas market. Fresh off India EU FTA agreement, any initial feedback that you've got?
We're looking at it closely because it has an impact on everything. So on the export first. So today, short term, yes, of course, a positive impact on the export. Now, how is it going to develop? We're looking at it very carefully. Right. Very important.
You have a diversified powertrain portfolio. What are the low-hanging fruits from your perspective? And we often talk about multi-pathway as a path towards net zero. When you look at India, every region has its own paths. From an Indian context, what are the low-hanging fruit? What are the potential big opportunities that you see from your powertrain portfolio?
So, from the powertrain portfolio that we have, clearly the big opportunity is hybrid. Clearly, all the hybrid solutions.
All hybrid solutions.
Hybrid solution, and we already have a proven technology outside of India that everybody knows and that has been recognized with big volumes. So clearly, hybrid is very important. And on top of hybrid, you also have on the ICE possibility on flex fuels, and this will also have a proven technology in Latin America. So whether or in Europe, whether we're talking about CNG, we're talking about LPG, we're talking about ethanol. So clearly, these are some of the possibilities to help India go to, and India OEMs go to net zero. So it's not only EV, but there are plenty of different paths to be able to do that.
So like you said, you are present around the world and every region is taking its own path. We've seen a lot of U-turn and steps in Europe? I mean, there was a hard stop towards complete electrification, and then there was a U-turn that was taken now with no definitive date. What is the right path if you have to recommend from an India context? Because it's a large market, 4.5 million, some focusing on petrol, some focusing on diesel, some focusing on CNG. In your assessment, what's the right path for India, and what's your view specifically when it comes to gas and ethanol for India?
So again, there are different possibilities. So whether we're talking about passenger car or LCV, this is different. Whether we are in a region where there are lots of possibilities, it's different. So clearly, different paths. So either we go for HEV, either the EV is already ongoing and we have possibilities on EV native platform to be able to hybridize with the range extender.
Range extenders.
Exactly. Or we go through CNG, LPG. So really, on all the discussion we have, I think HEV is very important. And it's clearly part of all the discussion that we have. But then there are other alternatives that we are also working on. So there are different possibilities depending on the strategy of each OEM.
Right.
We're big, but we are quite flexible. And we try to listen to our customer and to provide exactly what the customer is needing.
In your diversified portfolio, you also have a couple of diesel engines, and Europe was the place where we had fantastic diesel engines, and in India, the diesel continues to play a very significant role. Do you see a potential opportunity of offering diesel engines in India for Renault or for any other group in the country?
Again, depending on what the customer is asking, yes, of course we can provide. Because in Europe as well, I mean, diesel is still here. Here today we expose also an M9 range extender, so it could be done through a range extender. Of course, diesel could be a possibility.
How long do you think diesel has a future? Because world over regulators are against that fuel, but with EU 7 and Euro 7 and BS7 here, it's getting cleaner and cleaner. What's your view on future of ICE?
I'm not into the government, but the future of ICE is really still bright, clearly bright. I mean, in Europe, we've seen that clearly now it's a bit more open. In regions such as Latin America, there are different possibilities with the flex fuel, etc. So this is also based on ICE engine. So there are really different possibilities. So the way we see it, with a bright future, and again, decreasing CO2, because at the end of the day, we all have the same goal and the same aim. But how can we help everyone to reach this target? We're here for that.
You have a sizable presence in Brazil as well. Their ethanol has taken off really well. Do you see potential of flex fuel hybrids as well, having a role when you look at the future mix of powertrains?
Yeah, sure. Clearly, I mean, in Brazil, that's the way to decarbonize, is to go with flex fuel. And clearly in India, we talk about CNG, we talk about LPG, but ethanol also is a possibility. So clearly, this is also a path, and we have proven technology at Horse to be able to do that, yeah.
So let's look at 2030. When you look at future of Indian market and role of Horse Powertrain, how do you see India's presence, and what are the challenging factors that you will encounter here in India or globally?
So first of all, 2030 is tomorrow now.
For a powertrain supplier, yeah.
In 3-4 years time. But clearly, I mean, our presence, again, we have lots of different discussions, so we hope we're going to close a deal here to be able to have scale and to be able to provide cost down for the customer we have today and for the OEMs with whom we'll be signing. Once we're established here in India, is how do we do to export and to benefit and to have even more scale? So clearly, 3-4 years time, I hope we'll have a good presence here. That's our intention.
As big as EU, a potential for you in India? Yeah. Do you see that?
There is a big potential because the market is huge, it's big, and it's still to be decarbonized. So plenty of different possibilities and solutions, clearly.
And lastly, on the challenges that you think, because various governments have a different path to how they see the future towards a net zero world. In your assessment, how do you navigate these challenges? As a leading player, keep the solutions ready. How do you circumvent these headwinds that you face around the world?
We have lots of headwinds because we have a different orientation per region. And as I was saying, we're already quite present in China, we're quite present in Latam, we're quite present in Europe. And though the politics are totally different and the orientation are totally different. So our solution are able to cover all these possibilities. So there is no reason why we couldn't accommodate to the Indian market. Clearly, that's our view.
So the way to de-risk is diversify and create solutions for the local market. Is that what?
Correct. Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Right.
But with proven technology, because at the end of the day, we don't have to. We believe there are plenty of different solutions towards the zero emission, and we provide some of them. What we believe is that some proven technology with already big volumes could also be adapted to the Indian market, because on the discussion we have with local players here, it's already the case. They're talking about HEV, they're talking about CNG, they're talking about LPG, so clearly, yes.
Fantastic. On that note, thank you very much for talking to Autocar.
Thank you.